Hello and welcome to this Saturday afternoon matchup in the Naugatuck Valley League between the Wilby Wildcats and the visiting Wolcott Eagles. I'm Nate Zielinski, and this broadcast today is presented by DET Sports Media on YouTube and Sky Channel 16. We're moments away from the starting lineups here. We're going to start with the visiting Wolcott Eagles decked out in red and silver and white today.
Thank you and enjoy the game and good luck to both teams. Let's meet this afternoon's starting lineup. First, for the Eagles of Wolcott High School, junior number 1, Terrence Stevens.
Junior Terrence Stevens gets the
Junior
start for
number
Wolcott.
34, A.J. Martinez.
Another junior, A.J. Martinez. Senior Curtis Winters, number 12. Devin Fugan, another senior, and rounding out the starting five is number 21, Alex Fort. Now for the home team, Wilby Wildcats.
And now, the starters for our Wilby Wildcats. Sophomore, number 31, Joseph Nieves.
Joseph Nieves, number 31.
Sophomore, number 23.
Number 23, Lewis Howard will get the start today.
Sophomore, number 24,
Elijah Stewart, number 24.
Senior, number 1,
Number 1, Yetyem De Jesus. And the senior star for Wilby is Giovanni Cruz, number 21. Interestingly enough, Wilby will start 3 sophomores today, so the youth movement, that bodes well for the future of the program. We're going to pause here for the national anthem and then get this game underway. And with that, we're ready to play some basketball on this Saturday afternoon in Waterbury. Wilby is off to a tale of 2 seasons this year, starting 4-0, but dropping their last 3, including their last game Saturday against Waterbury Career Academy. On the other hand, at 0-6, Wolcott will take a win any way they can get it today. They've had a couple close calls, losing by 9 and by 12, but they're still in search of that first victory. Our player spotlight today is shining brightly on senior guard Gio Cruz for Wilby. He has gone for 30 points already twice this season, including 35 in the opener and another 34-point showcase. He put on a one-man show in their last game against WCA, but again, they fell short 78-62. Got very interesting there in the second half, but Gio Cruz and his supporting cast wasn't able to track down WCA, who got out to a pretty early lead, so Wilby's going to look to avoid that today. They come into this game averaging 64.3 points per game, while their opponents are scoring almost 67 against Wilby, so defense has definitely been something head coach Alan Piccolo is going to chime in on, especially over their last 3. They've given up 88, 81, and 78, so that's a trend they want to correct if they want to get back in the win column. Elijah Stewart and Alex Fort are going to jump the ball here. And we are underway. Wolcott won the tip, but he sent it right to Joseph Nieves, who gets it to Gio Cruz in the corner quick. Nieves at the top of the key, finds DeJesus, he's a shooter. Cruz will take it from anywhere, front rim no good, and Curtis Winters secures the first rebound of the game for Wolcott. Into the front court, it's Terrence Stevens. Down in the post, Wolcott looking to strike first, and off the backboard and in, Devin Fuegan scores the game's first bucket, and Wolcott is up 2-0. Nieves across the court, finds DeJesus. Surveys the floor. Wolcott looks like they're in a 3-2 zone early on here. Stewart gets swarmed in the paint and makes a bad pass. Wolcott with a turnover. So the 0-6 team coming out with some fight here early on. The three is just short by Alex Fort, and we've got the first foul of the game now. That's going to be on 34, AJ Martinez, and Wilby will take the ball out of bounds. Just a minute gone by here in the first quarter, 6:59 left. Wolcott with the only bucket, up 2-0. Inbounds pass into Nieves, and he surveys the floor, finds Cruz. Into the corner it goes. And this Wolcott defense is tough to crack for Wilby so far. Gio Cruz is going to throw up another three. That's long. Nieves tracks down the rebound, one of the three sophomores in the starting lineup. And that's an air ball that Alex Fort tracks down. Curtis Winters, a tough drive, throws it up. Air ball, no good. And Lewis Howard's going to get that rebound. Wilby looks to push. Nieves, Cruz in the corner. Thought about the three, but passes it around the wing again. Howard to DeJesus, back to Nieves. Again, a lot of perimeter passing here for Wilby. They have yet to break down this defense. It's Howard for the corner three, and he drains it. So Wilby, with their first bucket, takes the lead 3-2 with 6:05 left in the first quarter. Stevens whips the pass ahead. His teammate was not looking, and it's Cruz for the layup, and he glides in for his first bucket, and it's 5-2 with 5:55. Head coach Matt Craig did not like that sequence of plays right there, so he calls the quick timeout. Wilby in the early going, not afraid to shoot the three. They're only 1 of 3, though, with that Lewis Howard tray from the corner. And then off the made basket, Wolcott looked to push. That was Stevens ahead to number 34, AJ Martinez, but he had his back turned. And that turned into the easy bucket for Wilby. Head coach Alan Piccolo for the Wilby Wildcats breaks down the huddle. After that slow start, he had to like that flurry of offense. And it's Stevens into the front court now for the Wolcott Eagles. Nieves hounding him, but a little too close for comfort for the ref's liking. Put 2 hands on him and got the foul call there. It'll be Fort to inbound. Nobody getting open quite yet. Wilby's defense is holding up, but Curtis Winters prevents himself, and he gets the ball back in the hands of Fort. Stevens on the wing. Again, Nieves is playing some great defense. That'll be a good matchup to watch. Nieves, the sophomore, in the starting lineup for a reason. He's a menace on the defensive end. Into DeJesus now. Back to Nieves. Again, that 3-2 zone for Wolcott. Nieves, Cruz, left open, and it's good. What a surprise. Gio Cruz now with 6 points. That's going to be hand down, man down all day. The Wolcott defense is going to need to break out of that zone and stay connected to Cruz as much as they can. He is a true difference maker. He can dribble, he can pass, he can play defense, and he can score from just about anywhere on the floor. Now it's Lewis Howard's turn to harass the inbounder, Curtis Winters. He gets it into AJ Martinez. Cruz pops out, but it leaves Stevens on the wing, and he knocks down the three. So Wolcott stays in range, 8-5 now after the three by Terrence Stevens. Nieves to Cruz. He's got the hot hand. Nieves drives all the way through to the basket, just misses. Stewart battling for the rebound with Devin Fuegan, and he hits the deck. Saw a lot of that last week with Elijah Stewart. He's not going to give you anything for free. Even after the whistle, he wants that ball. So that'll be something to watch throughout this game if tempers flare. And so what are we going to have here? That looked like it could have been a offensive push-off on Terrence Stevens, but it's Nieves with his second foul. So that stingy defense comes back to bite him, and he's got 2 fouls. He'll take a seat on the bench for now with 4:20 left in the first quarter. Off the bench comes Junie Garena, who actually got the start last Saturday. Wilby displays some pretty great depth because Aaron Jones, another starter from last Saturday, is actually on the bench. And Trent Stevens, number 30, will come into this game as well and provide a spark for Wilby. Eight to 5 with 4 minutes left here in the first quarter. We're halfway through, and it's Cruz going to launch another three. This one comes up just short. Lewis Howard had a hand on it, but it's tipped to Devin Fuegan. Here comes Terrence Stevens now into the front court. Cruz guarding him. Stevens, another three, and it rattles in. So we've got an 8-8 tie early on here. With their records and Wilby protecting home court, thought this might get out of hand early. But it's Alex Fort with the steal and a nice layup off the backboard, and it's 10-8 Wolcott. Second time this quarter they've had a 2-point lead. Let's see if Wilby can respond now. It's Cruz on the wing. Off to Junie Garena at the top of the key. Elijah Stewart down low, and he's going to get called for the travel, I believe. And the ball goes back to Wolcott. Off the bench now is junior Jeremiah Coleman. After the Stewart turnover, he heads right to the bench. He's none too pleased with himself, but here we go. Wolcott with the ball in the lead early on. 3 minutes and counting left in the first quarter. Stevens off to Martinez. Finds Fuegan. Surveying, looking for the open man. It's Curtis Winters, thought about the three. Instead, we'll pass to Stevens, who's already made 2 trays this quarter. And is that going to be another foul on Wilby? Yes, it is. They're racking him up here in the early going. That's going to be the 5th on Wilby, so they're getting close to putting Wolcott on the line. Once the 7th foul occurs, it'll be 1-1 for the rest of the half for the Wolcott Eagles. Inbounds play, under the hoop, Fort looking, and instead he'll take the easy way out and throw it off Gio Cruz. It looks like it'll be the battle of the 21s today. Both of those players looking to make an impact for their teams. 21 Alex Fort for Wolcott and 21 Gio Cruz for Wilby. Again, a tough inbounds play. That looked like it could have hit the end line, but refs let the play continue. Curtis Winters picks it up off the ground and hands it off to Stevens. Back to Winters. Down low to Martinez. Off the backboard, off the rim, no good. Devin Fuegan cleans up the mess and puts in the layup. It's 12-8 now, Wolcott. And this does not look like a team that's 0-6, I'll tell you that much. They've come out with some fight. They're executing, and this defense has proven to be pretty difficult to play against. It's Junie Garena driving baseline, and he says, take that. Lays it up off the glass with the left. That was a great move by Garena. He's a spark plug. He was in the starting lineup, as I mentioned last week, and he just comes in and puts in all the effort. He's the smallest guy on the court with the biggest heart, so keep an eye out for number 11, Junie Garena. Down low, the Wilby defense swarms A.J. Martinez, and he can't get the layup to go. It's back in the hands of Garena. Whips a pass down low to Jeremiah Coleman, who can't get the layup to go, but he does get the foul call, and he'll have a chance to tie this game at the line. Coleman goes to the free throw routine, puts up the first, and it's off the front rim. looking to go 1 for 2 here. Throws it up, and an identical free throw again, short rim, so Wilby comes up empty on that trip. Coleman looks to swarm forward off the 2, misses. Gets the head to Fuegan, back to Fort, and that was some beautiful offense there on the transition opportunity for Wolcott after the missed free throw. Well done. Into the game now for Wolcott is Carol Tala, number 5. Gio Cruz, top of the key, front rim, and again the rebound's controlled by Devin Fuegan, and Wolcott looks to run. Yem DeJesus got a hand on it, but it ends up in the hands of Curtis Winters, but he can't make the layup. Gio Cruz dribbles his way out of a double team under his own hoop and pushes the pace. Into the corner, it was Garena off to DeJesus, and he was in between 2 options there, and he ends up traveling. So the visiting Wolcott Eagles have come into Reggie O'Brien Gymnasium and taken the early lead, 14-10 with 1:09 left on the clock. Stevens up ahead to Winters. Back to Stevens, and he'll set up the offense with Garena keeping an eye on him. Behind the back, and the pass over to Winters at the top of the key. We're under a minute now. Again, Alex Fort, he'll pull up from the elbow. Front rim no good, rebound tipped around, and Lewis Howard will get it. Into the hands of Gio Cruz. Always a smart pass ahead to Garena. Gets trapped mid-range, good pump fake from Cruz. Surveying the floor, that was tapped behind, but they're gonna call a foul on number 5, junior Carol Tala. 37.7 left on the clock, and it'll be Gio Cruz to trigger the inbounds play here. Howard heads to the corner and gets it, and Aaron Jones is in the game for the first time. Howard down low, great pass to Coleman. That's great big-to-big movement there. It was Howard on the block. He could have easily forced that layup, but he found the open Coleman, who redeems himself after missing 2 free throws, and it's 14-12 here as the time ticks down in the first quarter. Winters to Fort, 15 seconds. Stevens. Aaron James guarding him. Number 0, Aaron James into the game. Fort from the wing. That's going to go miss right, but right to Fuegan. He can't get it to go. Tapped around again, and it looks like the buzzer's going to sound before Wilby can get up another shot. And we're at 14-12 through the first quarter. Wilby had to know coming into this game that their opponents were 0-6 on the season, and they might not be showing them enough respect right now. Wolcott has jumped out, looked good on defense, gotten contributions from a couple players on offense. Devin Fuegan, Alex Fort, and Terrence Stevens have all chipped in. For Wilby, Gio Cruz has 6 of their 12 points, and they're going to need to mount a comeback to change this game before they head into the locker room. We saw contributions from Jeremiah Coleman in that first quarter. Some great defense from Joseph Nieves before he got 2 fouls. Juni Carena came off the bench and provided a little bit of offense. So let's see who comes out on the floor here to start the second quarter for Wilby. So it's going to be Gio Cruz again, the senior leader for this team, along with junior Aaron James, sophomore Lewis Howard. Juni Garena is on the floor as well. And Junius Bell Luna checks into the game for the first time. Wolcott keeps the same 5 on the floor that they closed the quarter with. Tala, Fort, Martinez, Fuegan, and Stevens. First possession is a miss for Wilby, and it's Fort weaving his way through traffic. Finds Stevens in the corner, pump fake, floater, just short, rebound tipped around. 2 Wolcott players got there first, but they took it away from each other. Great pass ahead to Aaron James by Garena, but he blows the layup. Fuegan's going to be able to corral that miss and hand it up to Steven. Garena pokes it away, but it's going to be off him last, so Wolcott's going to inbound this one under their own basket. Fort looking. Into Fuegan, great cut from Stevens. Throws it up again and just misses the layup. Garena is going to push the pace here. He's got options ahead. Pulls up from the paint for the jumper, and it's good. So we've got a tie ball game here, 14-14. Instead of being in the starting lineup, Garena making the impact off the bench. Head coach Alan Piccolo's got to love that. And Trent Stevens heads to the scoreboard as well, so he'll come into this game for the Wilby Wildcats. Devin Fuegan finds a cutting Fort right under the hoop, and he's fouled. Good play design there by Wolcott. Baseline screen got Fort open, and he earns a trip to the line. So Wolcott will have a chance to retake this lead here if Fort can convert from the line. They'll knock down the first one, and Wolcott's up 15-14. Trent Stevens is going to come in for Aaron James now. Back rim, no good, but Fuegan's there for the rebound. Back out to Fort. Stevens trying to drive on Garena. Good luck, but he pulls up from the free throw line and misses the jumper. Lewis Howard corrals up ahead to Garena. And he's going to drive again. And Junie Garena has taken over this game off the bench. That was a great give and go. Garena to Cruz. Back to Garena. He's got 6 points. And Wilby's got the lead, 16-15. He's going to hound Terrence Stevens now, who works his way through. And they're going to call a travel on that. Looked like a pretty good move, but the ref spotted the travel. Junie Garena all the way to the hoop. The layup is no good. Wolcott clears, and Alex Fort brings it into the front court. Off to Fuegan. A great pass to number 5, Carol Talla, and he's on the score sheet now, 17-16. Wolcott in the lead. Stevens off to Garena. Lewis Howard in the corner. He's already made 1 3 today. Well, he'll pass this opportunity up. Stevens surveys. It's Cruz in the corner. Pump fake. Baseline jumper's no good. Howard's there to clean it up. And Howard swishes the short jumper. So we've got a little back and forth now here. Wilby's in the lead, 18-17, with 5.5 left to go in the second quarter. Stevens off to Martinez. Thought about the baseline drive, but he'll take it out. Junis Belluna with some good defense here. Martinez in trouble, finds Talla. Top of the key, Fuegan. Wolcott really whipping this ball around, and it finds Stevens, who swishes the long 2. So Terrence Stevens is the leading scorer here for Wolcott early on. He's got 8 of their 19. Gio Cruz on the wing. He's not going to stand by idly anymore. He takes matters into his own hands with a nice drive from the wing. Gets a few bounces, and the layup goes, so it's Wilby up 20-19. Fort wants to respond with the corner 3. Comes up short. Talla was able to track down the rebound, but his shoe size is just 1 or a half size too big. Maybe that toe hits the end line, and it'll be Wilby basketball. Trent Stevens inbounds to Garena, and we're back underway pretty quickly here. Scratch that. We'll have a side out of bounds. Wolcott was in the middle of subbing a player out. Alex Fort's been all over the court in the early going here. And that's a well-deserved rest with 4:42 left in the second quarter. So again, it'll be Garena after the Stevens inbound pass. Whips it over to Lewis Howard, who takes the step back 3. Nothing but net. All right. Lewis Howard. The big man with the shooter's touch. They forget to play defense, and Lewis Howard is doing it on both ends. Makes up for a quick lapse there by Wilby, and he swats that one out of bounds over to the snack section. 23-19 with 4:23 left. Wolcott again with some good ball movement in the early going. They're whipping it around. Stevens the deep 3. He's got the hot hand early on, but it's Cruz who skies high for the rebound. Wilby looking to expand on this lead now. Lewis Howard, why not? That's going to just miss. It's Jeremiah Coleman with the rebound, though. They find Howard again. Cruz checks his options. Jump stop. Great pass to Coleman. So that's twice now Jeremiah Coleman has benefited from 2 dimes from his teammates. The first one was Lewis Howard. The second, Gio Cruz. Wilby has their biggest lead of the game now, 25-19. Head coach Matt Craig is going to talk with the troops for a little bit after this game has gotten a little away from Wilby. They had a Wolcott, they had a 19-18 lead, but thanks to a 7-0 Wilby run propelled by Lewis Howard, Wilby now has the lead 25-19. As the teams break the huddle, Alan Piccolo, the head coach for Wilby, has got to be happy with how his team has kind of turned this around. They're outscoring Wolcott in the second quarter here, 13-5. And after a sleepy Saturday afternoon start for the Wilby Wildcats, they have surged ahead here. They're going to look to pull away as we head towards halftime. Again, 3:54 left on the game clock before both teams head to the locker room. Cruz, Coleman, Trent Stevens, Junior Garena, and Lewis Howard are going to be the 5 on the floor for Wilby. It's going to be Curtis Winters, Devin Fuegan with the ball now, Terrence Stevens, AJ Martinez, and number 3 is into the game for the first time, Nick Scanziano. Errant pass on that one for Wolcott, and they gave it right back to Wilby after the timeout. Head coach Matt Craig has seen enough, and he's going to put Alex Fort back into this game for that steadying presence. It's Cruz who lines up the 3, just short. Scanziano gets the rebound. Off to Stevens, left wide open. Big mistake there for Wilby. Stevens has the hot hand early on. He's knocking down everything he looks at. He gets Wolcott back into the game, 25-22. Cruz in a flash, puts up the layup, but it's no good, and Stevens is going to push the pace. Finds Fuegan cutting down the lane. He can't handle it, but neither can Trent Stevens, and it's going to stay Wolcott ball. Here comes Yetyem DeJesus, giving a much-needed break to Junior Garena. He really turned this game around for Wilby with his energy and presence. Fort again looking to get this ball in. Wilby's inbounds defense has been great. Trent Stevens is going to try to take it all the way and just miss Terrence Stevens. Clears that, sets up the offense. He's going to look for his shot again, no doubt. Just letting it all come to him, though. Wolcott has played some great offense. They're not trying to do too much. They're just whipping the ball around and finding that open person, and usually it's been Terrence Stevens in the early on. Here comes Fort, baseline. Lewis Howard thought he had all ball, but the ref saw it otherwise. Alex Fort will head to the free throw line. We're down to 2:47 now, left in the second quarter. Wilby clinging to a 3-point lead that could be whittled down to 2 or 1, depending on Fort's performance at the free throw line. Rips the net on the first one. No problem there. And another perfect free throw from Alex Fort. And it's 25-24. Lewis Howard playing catch with Yetyem DeJesus. He throws up the 3, and it's no good. So Howard's hot hand might be cooling off just a little bit. Stevens tries to throw ahead an ill-advised pass. Curtis Winters, again, not looking. So Wolcott early on is turning into their own worst enemy. They're playing some great basketball here today, but a lot of errant passes when teammates aren't looking, and turnovers have really come back to bite them. Cruz all the way to the bucket, everything but the finish, as that bounces around the rim 3 or 4 times. Wilby comes up empty-handed on that trip. It's Ford on the elbow. Finds number 4 just into the game, and that's nothing but net again. Caden Chance. He took a chance and knocked down the 3. 27-25, Wolcott back in the lead. So a 7-0 run by Wilby saw them jump ahead 25-19, followed by an 8-0 run by Wolcott, 27-25 now. Cruz wants to end that, but can't with the wing three. Terrence Stevens gets that rebound, pushes the pace, finds Fort in the corner. Just short. Winters tips it around. Stevens. And number 15, Jeremiah Coleman, comes out of the pile with it. Finds Trent Stevens. Whips it ahead to Yetyem de Jesus. And that was a push-off that the refs called there on Devin Fuegan. It's going to be a side out or underneath the hoop. Yes, underneath the hoop, inbounds play for Wilby coming up after that foul on de Jesus. They actually call Fort on that foul. Inbounds passes into Lewis Howard, and Garena's back in the game. That wasn't a long rest. All the way to the hoop, off the backboard, no good. Lewis Howard tries to save it, and it's only into the hands of Terrence Stevens. Up ahead to Caden Chance, but Yetyem de Jesus swipes that away, and Wilby will run this one. Giovanni Cruz drives baseline, and another beautiful move by the senior guard, Gio Cruz. 27 all here. We've got a minute left in the second quarter. This has been a great game so far between these two Naugatuck Valley League teams. Fort tries to throw up a wild shot after getting an offensive rebound. No good, though, and it's back in the hands of Cruz. Again, the floater, and Gio Cruz is heating up. 29-27, we'll be back in the lead. 50 seconds left in this first half. It's been extremely entertaining. Terrence Stevens, Gio Cruz, Lewis Howard, Alex Fort providing us with some great action today. Juni Garena as well. It's a great pass from Fort into Fuegan. Can't make the layup, back out to Chance. He's already hit 1 3. And Caden Chance, the shooter off the bench. Don't leave him open. Number 4 has 2 threes already. Wolcott has a 1-point lead. Let's see if Wilby holds for the last shot. If they can take this lead into the halftime locker room, that'll be a big blow for Wolcott. This might be their best half of the season so far. Again, they come into this game 0-6, desperate for their first win. A lot of seniors on this team with some pride. They do not want to see Wolcott go winless their senior year. It's Garena from the top of the key, misses almost everything. And we got a late foul here with 2.1. Who are they going to call that on? Garena dove for the rebound. It's going to be Alex Fort again. So he's got to watch out for foul trouble in the second half. I think that's only his second. But he's a senior leader for this Wolcott Eagles team, so they're going to need him if they want to win their first game of the season. Great inbounds play to Lewis Howard. He comes up just short. Tries again. Do we have a jump ball before the buzzer? We do. Or the refs are just going to wave it off and let the teams head to the locker room. Yep, that's going to be the case. So again, Wolcott 30, Wilby 29. Wolcott Eagles looking for their first win of the season. It looked a little sketchy there in the second quarter. Wilby looked like they found their groove, but it's going to be Wolcott with a late run that's going to head into the locker room with the lead. We'll be back after this with some second half action. Again, the Wolcott Eagles lead the Wilby Wildcats 30-29. All right, folks, it's Nate Zielinski here on behalf of DET Sports Media on YouTube and Sky Channel 16. We're just about a minute away from getting this second half started on this Saturday afternoon game in the Naugatuck Valley League. The Wolcott Eagles, who are 0-6 on the season and find themselves in last place in the conference, have a 1-point lead against the Wilby Wildcats, who are 4-3, and there's some Waterbury pride on the line today, as all 4 schools in Waterbury are above 500 on the season. Wilby at 4-3 is looking to avoid that. Naugatuck at 10-0 has surged out to a pretty impressive start to this season, but Crosby and Kennedy, 2 of the other Waterbury schools, are right on their heels. And speaking of those 2 teams, that might have been the game of the season so far for me. Kennedy falling just short at home to Crosby in double overtime. That game was a thriller, and those 2 teams are definitely going to make some noise in the basketball playoffs this season. Look out for the Kennedy Eagles and the Crosby Bulldogs. So the buzzer sounds. Coaches are giving some final instructions to the teams here as we start this second half. It'll be the starters again for Wilby. They send out Cruz, de Jesus, Nieves, who has 2 fouls but played some great defense before racking those 2 up. So let's see if he can make an impact on this game once again. Elijah Stewart and Lewis Howard. Stewart was unhappy with his performance in that first half. He went to the bench a couple times. None too pleased with himself, but Lewis Howard picked up the pace with some nice threes and some playmaking. For Wolcott, it's going to be Fort, Stevens, Devin Fuegan, number 13, A.J. Martinez, 34, and Curtis Winters, number 12. So both teams do employ the same starting five that took the court at tip. Alex Fort into the lane quick. Winters with the rebound, and he's hacked by Stewart or Howard. I don't know who they're going to call this one on, but it's going to be 23 Lewis Howard. So Wolcott will have a chance to add to their slim lead at the line early on in the second half. Only 6 seconds gone by until Curtis Winters drew that foul. The first one's up, front rim, backboard and in. See if he can go 2 for 2. Back rim, no good. Howard, who committed the foul, also corrals the rebound and hands it off to Nieves, who will start the offense. And that's not a good start for Wilby. He's unable to hold that pivot foot. He slid as he came to a jump stop there. Ref spots it, calls the travel. 4 into Stevens. And Wolcott again finds himself on offense up 2. A.J. Martinez over the shorter Nieves, but Nieves able to poke it away. There's that defense we were talking about. Devin Fuegan, guarded by Stewart, all the way to the hoop. Great move, but it's a little too strong. He finds the rebound off to Martinez. Great pass. Wilby got a hand on that. Now the ball's loose. Terrence Stevens tracks it down in the corner. He'll throw up the layup and get the roll. Terrence Stevens continues his impressive day, and it's 33-29 Wolcott. Nieves back quick for Wilby. Trying to drive on Martinez, runs into a Curtis Winters wall, and he's able to take that basketball away. Pushing the pace, finds Fuegan, threading the needle, but Devin Fuegan can't pay it off with the layup at the rim. Howard up ahead to Nieves. Wilby's pace has picked up early on in the second half. Howard, Cruz. Howard looked to set the pick, but Cruz denies, drives baseline, all the way to the rack, and Gio Cruz takes matters into his own hands. It's 33-31. Wilby staying in this game with 6:40 left in the third quarter. Stevens to Martinez. Loose ball, drives on Howard. Tries to go reverse. Elijah Stewart with one hand grabs that rebound. Pins it against his chest. Passes it up to Nieves, left wide open. That's going to be a deep 2 with a foot on the line. And the ball rims out. Terrence Stevens gets the rebound up ahead to Curtis Winters. Drives on Nieves. No call. Could have been a charge, could have been a block. I like that no call there, though. And Winters is able to lay it up and extend the lead to 4 again for the Wolcott Eagles. Yetyem DeJesus in the corner for 3, and it's just short. Fuegan with the rebound off to Terrence Stevens. Stevens all the way, and that's going to be a charge, says the ref. He sends it the other way. That was a big call there. Back-to-back plays. Nieves on the no call could have picked up his 3rd foul. And then they call a push-off with the elbow on that last play again. So Nieves is going to head to the bench, but with no fouls called on him. His defense will be a big factor in the second half if he can stay in this game and avoid foul trouble. It's Junie Garena who came off the bench and gave Wilby some much-needed offense and gave Gio Cruz some support, more importantly. Another quick foul here for Wolcott. A.J. Martinez, the guilty party on this occasion. And DeJesus will inbound under the basket. Gio Cruz comes free off the screen. Pump fake. Garena, wing 3. Front rim, Stewart skies for the rebound, and it's knocked out of bounds by the Wolcott Eagles. Wilby ball still down 4. 5:45 left in the third quarter. Again, it's going to be DeJesus. Elijah Stewart goes up strong and gets the layup to go. Great little inbounds play there. They had 2 players cut to the basket and cut to the corner. Stewart just kind of roamed down the paint, found the inbounds pass, and put up the tough layup. He's got the rebound now, keeps his pivot foot down, almost travels there, but finds Lewis Howard, who passes to Garena. Needs help here at the top of the key, and Lewis Howard obliges. Back down low to Stewart. Why not? Let's see if he can go for 2 in a row here with the layup. Just too strong, and Fort rips down the rebound, and he's got a transition opportunity here for Wolcott. Euro step all the way to the hoop. The layup is strong, though. Stewart's going to pull it down again, and good luck getting that ball from him. I mentioned that in the first quarter. Elijah Stewart giving nothing away for free or easy here for the Wilby Wildcats. Even rips a mask, and head coach Alan Piccolo supplies him with a new one. So as he masks up, gets back in the action, Cruz passes it into Garena, and here comes Wilby trying to tie or take the lead here midway through the third quarter. It's Garena to the wing to DeJesus. Terrence Stevens playing some good defense. And it's Giovanni Cruz in the paint, jump stop, short jumper, front rim and in. So Gio Cruz gets the shooter's touch, and we're tied at 35. Stevens tries to drive on DeJesus, gets all the way to the rack, and the scoop layup is good. Terrence Stevens and Gio Cruz going back and forth here early in the third quarter. And it's 37-35. DeJesus corner wanted to shoot the 3 before he even caught the pass. You saw his eyes just go right to the rim as that ball was in midair, and he just didn't look that one in. If he gets an open look, count on him to knock it down, though. DeJesus had an impressive game last Saturday, knocking down some threes. The score stays 37-35 in favor of Wolcott as Stevens is hounded by Junie Garena. Elijah Stewart looks to help. It's Winters in the corner now. Momentarily poked away, but Stevens is able to corral it. Tries the pass that Lewis Howard tips and picks off. Now up ahead to Gio Cruz. DeJesus, there's that three-pointer. Front rim no good. Fort able to track that one down. Garena and Cruz are hounding him in the backcourt, though. Good double team. Up ahead to Winters, who's going to shoot the 3 and get fouled by Lewis Howard. Good effort on the closeout. He just got a little too close on that one. Didn't let Winters finish that jump shot motion. Howard disagrees. Piccolo, head coach Piccolo, appreciates the effort from Howard there, but it's going to result in 3 free throws now for number 12, Curtis Winters. Winters good on the first here. So we're in a bit of a dogfight on this Saturday afternoon. This is more at the pace that Wolcott wants to play. We'll be usually able to get into the 60s every game. That'll be a tough task this time around. And on the season, the Wolcott Eagles are averaging 45.5 points a game. They've gotten blown out a couple times, but Curtis Winters at the line. And the Wolcott Eagles have 40 points now, 5.5 away from their season average, so they're looking to improve that. Junie Garena tracks down the ball, passes it into Aaron James. He gets it back to Garena, who will start the offense for Wilby, who finds himself down 5 now. It's one of the bigger leads of the game for the Wolcott Eagles. This one's been pretty close throughout. James thought about the jumper, but finds Garena. They need a basket. Who are they going to go to here? Wilby. They find Cruz. The 3. Front or back rim. Sorry, no good. A little bit strong there. Elijah Stewart had the rebound for a second, but Terrence Stevens rips it away. The momentum is in favor of the Wolcott Eagles as Stevens drives. Winters is there for the rebound. Tapped out of his hand and out of bounds. He wanted a foul, but the ref says that was a clean play and it'll just be an inbounds play for Wolcott. The clock is now under 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I'm going to wonder if pressure is going to come into play here as the Wolcott Eagles are looking to secure that first victory of the season. Can they hold on against the 4-3 Wilby Wildcats? That turnover won't help. That pass had a little extra heat on it. Fort couldn't handle it, and out of bounds it goes. So it's Garena into the front court, trying to break down A.J. Martinez. Aaron James now the jumper from the baseline. Rim a couple times and out. He doesn't get the shooter's roll. Alex Fort weaves his way all the way to the basket, puts up the layup off the glass and in. So it's Wolcott with a 7-point lead now. 42-35. Can Wilby respond? It's Garena off to James. Howard to Stewart. Great big man pass, and that's the second or third time we've seen that today. Those post-to-post passes for Wilby has been some of their best and smoothest offense. Stewart unable to get the layup, but that was a hefty hack, so he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Both teams relatively staying out of foul trouble here in the second half. 3 on Wolcott, 2 on Wilby. Elijah Stewart knocks down the first one. Wilby can't spare a point here if they're going to try to make this comeback. Stewart's going to need to knock these free throws down, and he does. Swish on the second, so it's 42-37. Just over 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Wolcott slows down the pace. Terrence Stevens looks to set up the play for Wolcott, and it's going to be a timeout as the quick double was coming from Aaron James and Juni Garena. So 42-37 with 2:08 left in the third quarter. I mentioned the 45.5 points per game for Wolcott. They're allowing their opponents to score 70.6. So the defense has stepped up. Wilby has just over half that with 2:08 left in the third quarter. Wolcott, again, came out in a 3-2 zone to start the game, and that kind of gave Wilby some problems. They didn't know how to break that down. A lot of the shots weren't falling. Sometimes it just comes down to make or miss. And Wilby has not been able to convert. They're right there, though, down 5. Got the home court advantage today here in Waterbury. So we'll see if that benefits them with 10 minutes and 8 seconds left in this game. We've got 8-minute quarters here in high school basketball. So plenty of time for Wilby to make a comeback, but Wolcott's going to hold on for dear life to celebrate this first win of the season. This will be a great weekend for the Wolcott Eagles and their basketball team if they can leave this gym 1-6 instead of 0-7. Head coach Matt Craig called that last timeout, so it's going to be Wolcott to inbound Curtis Winters into Terrence Stevens. Juni Garena watches him. He gets it across half court. Winters in the corners trapped. He finds Fort at the top of the key, and Garena's there to cover. Winters again is going to try the skip pass. Fort jumps high to catch it, and he'll pull up for 3 and rip the net. Gives a clap over the Wolcott supporters that are here. Alex Fort is feeling it, and Wolcott has their biggest lead of the game, 45-37. Gio Cruz has been a bit passive up until this point in the game. Let's see if he can turn it on in the fourth quarter to start this comeback. But as of right now, Wolcott's looking to make that lead double digits. It's Terrence Stevens with the floater, and it is 47-37. Nice move from number 1, Terrence Stevens. He and Alex Fort have been the 1-2 punch that Wolcott has needed in this game. And now they have a 10-point lead. It's James on the wing. To Garena to Cruz. Cruz is going to throw up the 3 and miss that off to the right. So let's see if Gio Cruz is going to have more of that quick trigger to try to get Wilby back in the game. He is undoubtedly their best player, having a bit of a quiet afternoon here. Lewis Howard tries to close again on the 3, but Curtis Winters knocks it down, and the Wolcott Eagles are up 50-37. You can tell how much this means to them. The bench jumps up right away after an Alan Piccolo timeout from the Wilby bench. 54 seconds left in the third quarter. And Wolcott starting to feel it. Players got a little extra pep in their step. They're jumping around. They're excited on the bench. This win would mean a lot to the Wolcott Eagles today. Wilby's gotten a little stagnant on offense. I think a lot of that has to do with Wolcott being able to make a bunch of baskets in this third quarter. They now have 20 points. They're outscoring Wilby at home in the third quarter here, 20-8 in the third quarter, and that has swung from a 1-point lead to a 13-point lead for the visiting Eagles. Again, we're coming to you live on the George Torrado court in the Reggie O'Brien Gymnasium in Waterbury, Connecticut, home of the Wilby Wildcats. They've got their work cut out for them in the last 54 seconds of the third quarter and the final frame here, the fourth quarter. If they want to celebrate a weekend win, but right now Wolcott is in control. There's been no real easy looks for the Wilby Wildcats in this third quarter, so let's see if they can draw up a play or if Gio Cruz can get hot or Juni Garena can have a nice finish in the paint here as he tries to break down number 5 off the dribble. He finds Elijah Stewart, who kicks it to Cruz in the corner. He's going to try the little push shot, and that's nothing but net. So Gio Cruz stops the bleeding for a little bit here for the Wilby Wildcats, now 50-39 as Terrence Stevens looks to respond. He finds Devin Fuegan. The defense has picked up a little bit. Fuegan's going to try the skip pass to the corner. And it's Alex Fort cutting down the middle of the lane. He can't get it to go. Fuegan the rebound, and it's short, but the ref spot a foul there. Might have been a little body contact as Devin Fuegan tried to convert on that offensive rebound opportunity. There'll be 2 shots here with 15.5 seconds left in the third quarter. Fuegan can't connect on the first one. But he does connect on the second. So the lead is back to 12, 51-39. Wilby can hold for the last shot here. It's Garena surveying the floor. Trent Stevens, number 30, cuts. Doesn't get the pass, though. Garena's going to look to take this 1-3. 2. Stevens got to hoist it up and does. Off the rim, no good. The Stewart putback would not have counted, but doesn't go in either. And after a 21-point third quarter, the Wolcott Eagles are 8 minutes away from their first victory this season, 51-39 against the Wilby Wildcats. Let's see if they can close this deal. This is by far the best opportunity they've had. The Wolcott Eagles have had some tough losses this year. They've lost 66-54 and 53-44. Those are their 2 closest games. The other losses are around 20 points and beyond, so I doubt they've had a fourth quarter lead at any point this season, but we'll see if they can hang on to the 12-point advantage they've accumulated so far in this game. Terrence Stevens and Alex Fort have been calming presence, one a senior, one a junior. So this looks like it'll be Terrence Stevens' team next year, but Alex Fort has been a great leader out there, ball handler. He and Stevens are splitting the point guard duties. They're getting contributions from Devin Fuegan on defense and the offensive glass. Curtis Winters has stepped up big. He's made a 3 and 3 free throws this past quarter. Caden Chance came in for a little bit. Let's see if we see him in the fourth quarter. He had 2 threes in that second quarter for Wolcott. And on the Wilby side, it's been a bit underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Giovanni Cruz, as I mentioned in the pregame, has scored 30 points twice this season. He's been a bit of a passive player today. And Juni Garena and Lewis Howard are providing sparks here and there, but not consistent enough to put Wilby in the lead. It's 51-39, Wolcott ball to start this fourth quarter. Let's see if they can hold on for their first win. Inbounds pass to Fuegan, right back to Fort, who cuts all the way to the hoop. And this could be a great start for Wolcott, but no, it's no good, and they battle for the rebound between Fuegan and Lewis Howard. It's going to be a jump ball. It's going to favor Wilby. But quickly, Wolcott getting the possession arrow for the rest of the fourth quarter could also be a factor, so we'll keep an eye on that as Trent Stevens brings the ball into the front court. It's Stevens, Garena, Giovanni Cruz, Lewis Howard, and Elijah Stewart on the floor for Wilby as they try to mount this comeback. Cruz gets all the way into the lane, but the jumper is a little too strong. It's Terrence Stevens, Alex Fort, Devin Fuegan, Curtis Winters, and Carol Tala for Wolcott. That's the lineup that starts the fourth quarter as they try to hold on desperately for that first win. Fort to inbound. Looking for Stevens, but Cruz guards him. Fuegan with a nice cut to make himself available, and it's back in the hands of Fort. Junie Garena says, no, I'll take that. Up ahead to Cruz, and he gets fouled as he drives to the basket. Can't convert the layup, but these are 2 big free throws. It'll cut the lead to 10, and Wilby could get on the board first here in the 4th quarter. Cruz needs some confidence, so maybe these 2 free throws are going to be just that. He's got to have the kicks of the game today for me. Those yellow shoes are actually SpongeBob themed. Those might be Kyrie Irving's. They're definitely Nikes, but I caught a glimpse of those. The SpongeBob kicks are going to win the sneakers of the game for me. Back to the action as Cruz makes both free throws, and it's 51-41 with 7:20 left in the 4th quarter. Up ahead, Curtis Winters tries to find Tala, but the pass is a little too tall. Can't control it, and it hits the baseline before he can save it. Trent Stevens taking over point guard duties. Hand check foul on number 5, Tala there. That's going to be the 6th team foul on Wolcott. So we'll watch out for that. As one more foul, and Wilby will find themselves in a 1-and-1 situation. 10 fouls gets them to the double bonus, but the free throw line is definitely one way that Wilby can mount this comeback. It's going to be Gio Cruz. There's another way. Giovanni Cruz getting him the ball. Those 2 free throws and that jumper. He's got the last 4 for Wilby. They've cut the lead to 8. I mentioned pressure being a factor here for Wolcott. They've got to know what's on the line. They sat in that huddle before the 4th quarter with a 12-point lead. So this is going to be a big stretch here. Head coach Matt Craig realizes that and calls a timeout with 6:56 left. Wolcott has yet to score in this 4th quarter, while Giovanni Cruz has all 4 for Wilby. The score is 51-43. Wilby does not want to drop this game. For as bad as Wolcott wants to win it, Wilby does not want to lose it. They're off to a pretty steady start this season. As I mentioned, 4 straight wins and 3 straight losses puts them at 4-3. They can kind of break that trend, avoid 500, and 5-3 has them squarely in the middle of the Naugatuck Valley League if they can pull this out. It's a 15-team conference. Wolcott at 0-6 finds himself in last, and Wilby is right there in the middle at 7. So they do not want to continue dropping games as they try to make a push for the conference and state tournaments here. Another note for this game, Wolcott is reaching their highest point total on the season in that 66-54 loss. That was the highest amount of points they've scored. They find themselves with 51 points with 6:56 remaining, so this could be their highest scoring output of the season. Junie Garena is able to slap that right away from Terrence Stevens, but he can't save it after that. It's going to remain Wolcott ball here. I mentioned the firecracker that is Junie Garena. His defense is going to be a big part of this Wilby comeback if they can pull it off. I think Garena on defense and Cruz on offense are going to be 2 big factors here to watch for Wilby down the stretch. Terrence Stevens tries to break down Cruz off the dribble. It's Garena watching Fort. Winters into the post. And Carol Paula got great position there and puts in the first basket of the quarter for the Wolcott Eagles with 6:30 left. It's now 53-43. Can Wilby respond? They just cut it to single digits. It's Cruz driving. Double team, trying to do it all himself, and Terrence Stevens rips it away. He's going to drive on Stewart, throw up the layup, and just miss high off the glass in the back rim. Here comes Garena blitzing into the front court, and Curtis Winters gets the foul. I believe that's going to send Garena to the line. It looks like they did make a correction on that scoreboard. There was 6 fouls there momentarily. They switched it to 5. So that's now going to be the 6th foul against Wolcott. So we'll be now 1 away from that 1-and-1 situation at the free throw line. Garena into Trent Stevens. Cruz surveying the floor. Howard's going to set the screen for Garena. He thought about the three for a second. Finds Stevens. Good pump fake. Pass to Garena. He drives all the way. Euro step off the glass. No good. Devin Fuegan is able to corral that rebound. Elijah Stewart is covering him tightly, but Wolcott able to advance the ball. Alex Fort finds himself open on the wing. Big shot, front rim, no good. And again, the smallest guy on the floor rips down a big rebound. Junie Garena, number 11, left open at the top of the key. Swish, you heard that from up here, 53-46. That's a big bucket for Wilby. This is as close as they've been in a while. The bench for the Wilby Wildcats pumping the team up. That was a big shot right there. Garena doing it all. Interesting to note here, too, for the Wilby Wildcats. They've got Garena, 11, Stevens, number 30, and Lewis Howard, number 23. Three sophomores on the floor right now as they try to pull out this comeback. I mentioned that bodes well for the future of this Wilby program. They're on the court with senior Giovanni Cruz and a fourth sophomore. I'm wrong, a fourth sophomore, Elijah Stewart. So 4 sophomores and a senior trying to prevent the Wolcott Eagles from getting their first win. That's the 6th team foul on Wilby, so now both teams, next foul, the opposing team is shooting free throws. This 1-and-1 situation could go a long way to determining the winner here today. Lots of pressure on the free throw line late in the game in a high school basketball game, especially one that's really, really close. Garena able to tip that away as Terrence Stevens thought he had a lane. Tipped it right to Lewis Howard. Gio Cruz finds Stewart. Drives on Winters. They're going to call that a charge. I think player control was a big factor there as Elijah Stewart is face down on the George Torado court floor. Alan Piccolo half checking on his player, half barking at the ref there. That's coaching 101, checking on your player while getting your 2 cents in. A Wilby trainer is also attending to Stewart, so both teams are going to head to their bench, and we catch our breath here with just over 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. 4:59 remaining. Wolcott 53, Wilby 46. Last time I was in this gymnasium was a week ago, and it was Wilby trying to mount another fourth quarter comeback. They were down against Waterbury Career Academy for most of that game. They made it real interesting heading into the fourth quarter, but it was able to stem that tide and leave this gym with a 16-point win. Wilby is a lot closer today to the Wolcott Eagles, and they have them in their sights, but Elijah Stewart was a big reason why they were making this comeback with his defense, his tenacity, his rebounding. He's been on the ground for a while here now, hands over the face. Gotta hope the young player's all right. So Elijah Stewart is unable to put any pressure on that left ankle. Aaron James and Jeremiah Coleman are trying to help him to the bench. See if he can make it there. He had no weight whatsoever. Elijah Stewart, you can see it all with his reaction. He desperately wants to be out there. He's not happy. The shoe is off. They're going to need to get some ice on that ankle. But we are back underway here. Let's focus in on the action as Alex Fort dribbles into the front court. Trent Stevens and Gio Cruz guard him. Lewis Howard rips that away, but as I mentioned, the first play of the fourth quarter was a jump ball that favored Wilby. This one's going to favor Wolcott, so the possession arrow is going to flip back to Wilby down the stretch. Terrence Stevens triggers the inbounds play. Finds the hands of Alex Fort, and Gio Cruz is guarding him. Curtis Winters camped out under the hoop, had great position, blew the layup. Devin Fuegan finds Stevens now on the perimeter. He's going to pump fake. Great passing here by Wolcott. They can't pay it off, but Devin Fuegan has been Johnny on the spot all game long for those offensive rebounds. He finally gets a putback to go, and it's 55-46. Junior Garena with the great crossover dribble finds himself in front of the hoop, but he can't finish the layup. Alex Fort is going to push, and he's going to throw up the layup. And in a flash, Wolcott has turned this game around after the Elijah Stewart injury. The lead is 11 once again. Trent Stevens puts his head down and drives to the hoop to draw the foul. Both teams are now in the bonus. We'll shoot 1 and 1 the rest of the way unless it's a shooting foul like it is on this occasion. Stevens earns 2 shots at the line. Connects on the first, does the young Trent Stevens.
Substitution.
Stevens. Second free throw is front rim and no good, so it's a 10-point lead now for Wolcott halfway through the first quarter. 57-47. Terrence Stevens on the drive, gets all the way to the hoop. Grown man move against the younger Stevens, and it's a 12-point lead. I think we had another ankle turn here as Curtis Winters hits the deck, so now the coaches and training staff for the Wolcott Eagles are out there attending to a player. But before that, it was a big basket by Terrence Stevens to go back up a dozen right where they started this quarter. So Wilby has come out with some tenacity, some good shot making, but a quiet Gio Cruz has not enabled them to get back in this game, and they find themselves down 12. It was 51-39 at the start, and it is now 59-47 with 3:53 on the clock. Looks like 2 bad ankle turns back to back for Elijah Stewart on Wilby and Curtis Winters on the Wolcott Eagles. He's clutching that. Looks to be his right ankle. So we'll see who head coach Matt Craig puts in his place. Curtis Winters has been a steadying presence in the lineup. He and Devin Fuegan have done a great job rounding out the lineup with Terrence Stevens and Alex Fort. AJ Martinez has played a little bit here and there, as well as junior number 5, Carol Talla. I believe it is going to be 5 Talla that's going to check into the game for the injured Curtis Winters. So they're going to have to hold on to this 12-point lead without one of their seniors here. And it's Wilby basketball again with Trent Stevens. Finds Garena, who has Howard in the post. Kicks it out to Stevens. Garena on the wing for 3. Tipped out by Luna, number 20 for Wilby, into the hands of Gio Cruz. Let's see what he can do. He's going to drive, throw up the layup, no call. Lewis Howard with the rebound, and Lewis Howard with the bucket. Back to a 10-point lead with 3:25 left to go. Expect the rest of this game to be a frenetic pace here as Wilby tries to put some pressure on the Wolcott Eagles and turn them over and complete this comeback. It's Alex Fort finds Talla. He's under the hoop with 2 guys on him. Kicks it out to Fuegan. Skip past the Fort. Lots of good passing here by Wolcott. Wilby maintains that defensive pressure with Garena checking Stevens. Stevens all the way to the hoop, blocked by Howard though. A.J. Martinez now has at the top of the key. Garena just bumps into Stevens. He was following him like a hawk, but a little too close, and he bumps into the back of Terrence Stevens, who will go to the line for 1-1 now. So here we go, the first big test for Wolcott. Terrence Stevens at the line. Making these free throws will go a long way to securing the win. Missing the front end of this 1-1, and Wilby's back in the game with some confidence. Stevens, nothing but net. Can he convert the second? And it's no good, but one free throw is a big advantage, and Junis Luna can't hand the ball off to Garena in time. He traveled as he stumbled on that rebound attempt. That's a tough break for Wilby in a game where I figured Gio Cruz was going to be able to take over. It's been the Terrence Stevens show of the Wolcott Eagles, #1. Lewis Howard able to pick off that inbounds pass though. He's going to pull up for three now too. Off the rim, no good. That would have been a big turnaround for Wilby. Fort looks to push the charge. The refs see right through that as he kind of flopped there, and the senior, Alex Fort, is able to knock that short jumper off the glass. 62-49. Wolcott can taste this first victory. It's Cruz pulling up from the elbow. No good. Luna the rebound. Garena on the wing. He's going to have to hoist the three, and it's good. Wilby stays in striking distance. 62-52 with 2:21 left on the clock. Don't go anywhere. We've got a game down the stretch. A 10-point lead in high school basketball can evaporate in a matter of a minute or so. And we've got 2:21 left in this game, so plenty of time for Wilby to win this game or force overtime. Wolcott's going to look to slow down the pace, take their time, make the smart passes. And the biggest key here is probably going to be to make their free throws as they get closer and closer to that double bonus, but there's going to be another trip where they might have to survive that nerve-wracking 1-1. Joseph Nieves is back on the floor for the Wilby Wildcats along with Junie Garena, Giovanni Cruz, Junis Luna, and Lewis Howard. Here comes the full court press from the Wilby Wildcats. A.J. Martinez looks to get it into Terrence Stevens. Up ahead to Alex Fort, who's got Devin Fuegan and Carol Talla flanking him. He finds Talla, who gets the ball away just before a travel, and Stevens at the top of the key. Wilby's going to need to press a little bit harder here to force a turnover or a mistake by the Wolcott Eagles. It's Fort in the corner with 2:05 left. The screen and roll does not work on this occasion for the Wolcott Eagles, and Fort air mails the pass to Devin Fuegan, who couldn't even get a finger on it. And it's 62-52. We're at the 2-minute warning here with exactly 2 to play. Joseph Nieves up ahead to Garena. Might be the Junie Garena show here down the stretch. He's had the hot hand in the fourth quarter. Obviously, Cruz being their senior leader, can he pick up the pace? And it's going to be waved off here. A travel by Joseph Nieves. The home crowd and the bench of Wilby can't believe it. That looked like a pretty good move by Nieves, but maybe he took that step before putting that dribble down. I think that's what the ref saw. Full court pressure again. And it's up ahead to Fuegan. Wolcott breaks it pretty easily. 1:40 left on the clock now. The Terrence Stevens show. Can it continue? He finds Fort. It's going to be another tough call for Junie Garena to take. His defense has been a difference maker for Wilby, but again, he'll get charged for that foul. He will send Terrence Stevens to the free throw line for a 1-1. He made the first on the last occasion, missed the second. Let's see if he can add to the 10-point lead. Wolcott has officially scored their most points in a game this season. Their previous total was 54. They have 62 and counting here with Stevens at the line. Swishes the first one again. The junior has been impressive today for Wolcott, leading them to this victory. 2 free throws right there were huge. 64-52. We're under a minute 30 left. Una in the corner finds Garena again. Wilby's going to have to start throwing up some threes. That turnover won't help, and with 1:21 left on the clock, a turnover is exactly what Wilby did not need. Alex Fort for the inbounds pass. Terrence Stevens dribbles up the court. He'll look for that 3. Number 1 in your hearts and your program, Terrence Stevens. Have a day. The lead is now 15 with a minute 10, and the Wolcott Eagles are going to get their first win of the season. You can see how much it means to the players. Ready to jump out their seats. Giovanni Cruz comes up short. Junibella Luna out to the Garena. Short on the 3. I think that was deflected a bit. And Alex Ford is going to bring this into the front court, dribble behind the back. And the step back 3 from Terrence Stevens on the last possession sealed the deal for the Wolcott Eagles. A frustration foul there by Gio Cruz. He'll be back to fight another day. The impressive senior didn't bring his A game, but Wilby's season far from over. They're 4-4, and Cruz can show up to any gymnasium, drop 30, and secure a win for his team. So he'll have to pick his head up for the rest of the season with 41.9 left in the game. Terrence Stevens is going to look to add to his total. Stevens, with Wolcott now in the double bonus and the pressure off, is able to connect on the first free throw. Well over the 20-point threshold. This will definitely be a game to remember for the junior, Terrence Stevens, as the Wolcott Eagles get their first win of the season here. Alex Fort with a steal for good measure. Up ahead to his teammate, Carol Talla. And adding to the stat sheet, never hurt, 71-52. Wilby's got time for one more shot, as Wolcott will hold the ball here when they get it back. But Joseph Nieves with the drive, the spin. Good finish in traffic there. Wilby fighting to the last whistle, but to no avail. And it's going to be the Wolcott Eagles who come away with their first win of the season, and boy, was it well-deserved. They led after the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and come away with it 70-54. Well done for the Wolcott Eagles. The Wilby Wildcats are going to look to recover and come back stronger as they fall to 4-4 on this season. Again, I'm Nate Zielinski. This broadcast has been presented to you by DET Sports Media on YouTube and Sky Channel 16. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon where we saw the Wolcott Eagles finally get in the win column. The much-needed dub, 70-54 over the Wilby Wildcats. We'll see you next time.